Welcome back to the channel. Winks here. If you want to know how to maximize your time and potential in Chara World and Disgaea 5, then stick around to the end of the video. Due to squad effects, double chance learned. Welcome back to the channel. Winks here. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and while you're at it, go ahead and hit that bell so you never miss out on any videos that I drop. So today we're going to be talking about what I consider to be step 5 in the process of maxing your stats. So if you've been keeping up with the channel, then you know we've already covered a few different steps to this process. Step 1 was mastering subclasses, step 2 was reincarnation, step 3 was extract farming, and step 4 was item world farming. Now, you don't have to do step 4 and 5 in that particular order. I think you could probably do Chara World before you did the item world, but as you know, when it comes to Disgaea, there's several different ways of doing the same thing in this game because there's so many hidden mechanics in it. But I'm just sharing with you how I came to where I am with this max stats process. So that's what we're going to talk about today. There is no trick or tip that I can give you for Chara World. There's no magic, instantly, like it is with subclasses. You can instantly max your subclasses. There's no way, similar to the extract farming, there's no specific technique that's going to make your time in Chara World any quicker, I should say. But I believe knowledge is power, so I'm here today to give you that knowledge on what I know to help maximize your potential in Chara World, to get you through that part of the process as quickly as possible. So let's talk about that a little bit. So if you look at my main character, because the whole goal of Disgaea, at least for me personally, was getting to a point where I could defeat Carnage Baal. And in order to do that, you have to max your stats. You got to get your stats up there. And I'll have you know, you might want to stick around to next week's video, because luckily today I have officially defeated Carnage Baal. And as you can see here, I finally got the Great Ball Horn. And that's what next week's video is going to be about. I'm going to talk you through what all I had to do to set that up and defeat him. But that's not today's video. Today, like I said, when you get to that point though, when you're trying to get to the point where you can defeat Carnage Baal, you're going to be essentially maxing 2 damage dealers. And mine this entire time has been this Sage, right? And you can see on here that she's roughly around 7 million. And last time you saw one of my other videos, she was probably about 9,999,000. That's because I had to shift some things around to beat Carnage Baal. But one of these steps, regardless, is going through the Chara World. You're gonna have to go through the Chara World until you get to a point where you're between 75 million to max stats for your attack. You don't have to completely get maxed out before you fight Baal, from what I found, but you are going to spend some time in the Chara World. Now, when you look at your characters, if you look at the aptitudes on the screen, my head's in the way, but they max out at 300, right? And I went through Chara World with this Sage and maxed all those aptitudes out, and it does help to increase your stats when you do that. Now, the example that we've been using is Seraphina. So for today's purpose, I'm going to stick with Seraphina to kind of show you how this is going to look, what to look for, and again, to maximize your time in the Chara World and get through this as quickly as possible. So we're going to use her as the example. Now, before you go into the Chara World, like I said, there's no tips or there's really no like quick get-tos to that point, you know what I mean? But there are some things you can do. And one of those things that I'm going to recommend that you do is that you go to the squads, and there is a specific squad that helps you while you're in Chara World. Now that squad, bear with me as I find, here it is. Activity is the support group. So Activities in the Chara World become advantageous. So one of the things that you can see that it does is it boosts whoever's in this squad, the members, by 2%, right? So that's important. You're going to get an additional 2% every time you do a run. That's just going to get you there that much quicker, right? So we're going to go ahead and put Seraphina in that squad, and I'm going to run through Chara World a couple times to give you an idea of what to look for. Now, to understand how the Chara World works, right? The most that you can get in a single aptitude per run is 10%. So if you've got to, you know, if the max is 300% and the most you can get in a single stat aptitude is 10, then you're gonna have to do this a minimum of 30 times to get to that point, right? But the aptitudes across the board in a single run, the max they can do is 5%. And here's the breakdown on how that works. So when you're in the Chara World, the crazy lady that you can summon, which this is actually something you want to do every time you go into, before you go into the Chara World. So you're going to take that character and you're going to go challenge an evil person, Miss Evil. I keep forgetting what her name is, but you're going to do this every single time you go into the Chara World because it's only going to help increase your aptitudes when you go through here and run, right? So let's go ahead and pass that. This will just give us an encounter with Miss Evil, and Miss Evil maxes. She gives you 2% to that total of 5 across the board and 10 in a single, right? So we're just going to persuade by force because I'm not paying up anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and wipe these characters out real quick. You know, I could quickly just pay up and do this, but, you know, I was saving my HL when I was battling Baal because I needed the stats. So I'm just going to wipe them out this time. So anyway, you pass it, and you'll see her in the Chara World. Approved.
I can't believe
Alright, so, like I've stated in a previous video, anytime you're going through the Chara World, just go ahead and put it on Super Overlord because that is the best, from what I've experienced, the best way to run through Chara World. It's longer, it takes longer to get to the goal, but you know, you encounter the dark copies, which, you know, as I stated, Miss Evil is 2% towards that 5%, and each dark copy of yourself that you eliminate along the way is an additional percent. So if you encounter Miss Evil and then 3 of the dark copies, then that's 5% total across the board on all your aptitudes. Now when you get to the end, there's going to be an option to further increase an aptitude, and that's where you get the 10% on a single aptitude, and I'm going to show you that.
Just take a look.
I'll probably do 2 or 3 of these to show you the end result. Maybe not. It just depends on how long it takes to go through this and, you know, show you that result. But that's the goal for today. Super Overlord. We're just going to run through here. Now, Miss Evil will appear as soon as we land on the board because we passed that bill. And here she is right here. Perfect. So we're just getting, there's the dark copy right there. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna start moving. Now Miss Evil is gonna make her way towards us.
It's my turn.
Which is fine because she's weak anyway. Now I will say when you're in here, there are some certain tiles that you want to look for and some certain tiles that you want to avoid.
What is it?
And after we take care of her, one of the ones that you're gonna want to get, as you see I got those 2 shop tiles there. I encourage you to try and land on as many of those as you can, and I'm gonna go land on this one.
Meow.
And the purpose for landing on these is when you go to buy some of this stuff, I usually get, you know, the ones that have the battle slots, you know, because those are good for helping defeat the dark copies, so I'll buy that one. I'll go ahead and get this one. And that's pretty much all. Anything less than 4, like if I'm just in a tight spot and I need one that has 3, then I'll get this, but normally I won't. Here she comes. She's pretty weak. Okay, so now that we've defeated her, we get this dowsing rod. And that's gonna be one of the items that increase our aptitudes by 2%. So we're going to go ahead and use this. And now all aptitudes have received an added bonus. Now it's just 2%, and you can only use one of these per Chara World, so don't use more than one per run. So we're just going to continue. And another item that I look for, another I guess dice that I look for when I'm in that shop, is ones that give me more steps, like forward by tons and forward by lots. I look for those also in the shop, so I'm going to go ahead and use one of those. Because if you look in the top right corner, I got 66 more spaces to go, so I'm just going to chip away 20 of those. Now as you're going through, certain squares that you're going to want to land on in addition to the shop is if you look right there in front of her, not the red one, but the one that has the sword and the shield on it, the blue one with the up on it, you want to land on those as well because those also boost your aptitudes. There's also red ones with that same symbol on it. Do not land on one of those because the red ones lower your aptitudes. The blue ones boost your aptitudes. See, there's one right there. But we're just going to keep on going.
It's my turn.
I won't let you proceed.
Just keep on moving. Yes! I usually typically don't worry about really any. Here she comes. So now that she's gotten close, I'm gonna go ahead and use one of those battle slot ones. And I'm actually gonna move towards her.
It's my turn.
And now she's done. We'll get another increase to aptitudes and stats. So total, I killed Miss Evil. And I killed the dark copy, so at the end, I should see a 3% increase across the board for the majority of them. That does not include the last one, when we select our reward, the one that increases the single one. That should probably be around 8 to 10.
Yes! Yes!
So we're just gonna keep on going through here. And I really hate it when I get the one. Like moving one at a time, that's really just takes longer. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this other one for 12. And we're just gonna keep moving right through this. Because what I really want to do is get you to the end so you can see those aptitudes.
It's my turn.
And killing the enemies along the way doesn't really help. I mean, you see it gives her a little bit of a bonus. It's not much, I don't think, but it still helps. Every little bit counts.
It's my turn.
So now we got 35 more spaces to go. And again, with the one space. Let me see if I got another one that can get me there faster. It does not look like it. I'm gonna go ahead and use this one.
Too easy.
Okay.
I can't believe it.
And this is probably, you know, the longest. So you see that warp? I got 3 steps left, and I see that warp is 3 steps away. You want to try to avoid those too. So I'm gonna go a different route. Hopefully, I see that tile 3 spaces up that I told you to look for. Let me see if I got one where I can land on that. 3 steps. Bear with me, because I want to try and land on that to show you what I was referring to. 3 steps forward. Here we go. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, when you land on these types of tiles, you see my SP aptitude went up by 2, so that's just another bonus.
It's my turn.
So if we're keeping track here properly, if I'm correct in this, you should have 2 from Miss Evil, 1 from the dark copy, on speed specifically, and then you should have another 2 from this tile that we just landed on. So when we get to the end, we should see 5 on speed, on the aptitude speed. And there's another up right there. And see, I don't like this guy either. No, I don't want to. Don't ride with strangers. he is completely random in where he drops you, and sometimes it is not convenient. So I would just tell you, unless you're trying to run from a dark copy or something to not, you know, get killed, then I wouldn't ride with him at all. Because he's just a savage. He doesn't really care where he drops you. Sometimes it works, but a lot of times it doesn't. A lot of times he takes you back towards the beginning where you've already been. And again with the one slot. There he is again. Look at him, he's just persistent. No.
It's my turn.
I think he's just something the developers put in here to mess with players. Alright, so we're getting close to the goal. Hang in there. Alright, good. This will get us there.
Let me show you.
Alright, perfect. So we're going to enter the goal. And like I said, we should see at least 5 on speed. Now, we might see 3 across the board. And then, you know, we're going to add an additional, I think, 5 when we select which one we want to increase by itself. And what you do is you go over here to this one with the little helmet symbol right there. I want to train my equipment, enhance equipment aptitude. So here you get to pick one. So, and as you can see, just looking at the first one, it is 5. So it's 110 to 115. So that is just going to add on to whatever ones we had. So if we had 5 on the speed, I would go ahead and add that 5 to the speed and make it 10 total. So when we get to this end, oh, it was 8. So we had 3 for HP. It was 8 to, it's usually 8 to 10. The most that I've seen on a Chara World run is 10. But you have to fight like 3 dark copies, Miss Evil, and land on those tiles as well. But that's basically it. That's really all you're going to be doing. And every 3 runs that you go through here, you get rewarded with something because we're in that squad. And I'll go ahead and run through it to show you, you know, what that looks like. I might cut the beginning, you know, I might skip some of this so it doesn't make this video ridiculously long. But I'm just going to keep repeating the same process. Go in here.
Super reckless.
Vote. You know, I might actually pay up this time. Go ahead and pay up. That wasn't that much anyway.
I can't believe it.
And we're going to run back through Chara World on Super Overlord again.
Just take a look.
And once I run through here, once I get to the end, I'll start, you know, I'll cut out everything in the middle so you're not watching a ridiculously long video. Because by now you should understand the concept anyway. I'm just going to show you the results. There she is again, Miss Evil. Alright, so here we are back at the end. So we went through just like we did the first time. I encountered 1 Miss Evil and 1 dark copy. I didn't land on any of those special tiles this time. So let's go ahead and check out the results of the second run. So we're going to go up here, same spot as last time, enhance the equipment. And usually I try to get the highest one as close as possible first. If the end goal in maxing stats is attacking and killing Baal, then I would probably put it on attack. Let's see what that looks like. So again, 3 across the board and 8 on attack. Now I will tell you, the most that I've seen is 5 across the board and 10 on a single, right? So that was run number 2. Now this next run,
It's the cheat shop.
we should get a random Evilty from. Because you get a random Evilty every 3rd run that you go through. And it usually benefits you even more in Chara World. So let's go ahead and challenge an evil person one more time. And then I will show you what that looks like, getting that Evilty.
What should I do?
And the more, obviously, the more you go through Chara World, the more you keep that, you know, the longer you keep that character in the squad,
I can't
the more beneficial it's going to be.
I can't believe it.
Go back up here.
Just take a look.
And again, just like the first 2 times, we're just going to do Super Overlord with that character that we're increasing aptitudes for. Ideally, you want to get them all to 300% for your aptitudes. And just like last time, I'm going to run through this, I'm going to cut the middle out, and I'll show you the end result. Alright, so here we are at the end of our 3rd run.
Oh, I did it.
So now we get to see, now you'll get to see, the evil, like how you get Evilties from the squad. So again, I'm just going to put them all on attack. Due to squad effects, double chance learned. And I'm going to show you what that is. So you see on this one, I got 9, up to 9 on attack, right? Again, the most I've seen is 10 and 5s. It just depends on how it's laid out in the Chara World and how you run through it, basically. So, as you saw for yourself, Seraphina got something called double chance. Now, if I'm correct, that gives her 2 attacks while she's in Chara World, double chance. Increase slot amount by 1 when battling. So, when I run into a character and it has that little slot where you get a random number, and then that translates into damage that you give to the character you're battling, this is almost the equivalent of having one of those dice that gives you another slot, but you get it every time. You have 2 now, so it just doubles your damage that you can do, and that's really beneficial when you're fighting those dark copies. So as you're going through, you can get some of these and put them on your characters to make it that much easier as you're running through the Chara World. So you get one every 3 runs through Chara World. And my Sage, I can show you what some of those look like, which you'll be on the lookout for, because I went through there a lot with her and got some of them. Let me see here. So double chance was 1. Heart Guard, reduce effects of negative events in Chara World. High risk, multiply the status growth rate by 2, but defense will be 0. And then Spirit of Inquiry, increase the initial turn limit in the Chara World by 5. So, those are just some that I picked up along the way. You may or may not want those. If you spend longer in there doing this, you may get some that I'm not even aware of. But, just in summary, that's what I recommend to you to do while you're doing these Chara World runs. Put them in the squad. Make sure you're going to the Dark Assembly every time and passing that bill, and just pay attention to which tiles you're on and what you're trying to land on in the Chara World to make your time in there easier. And that's pretty much it for Chara World. So I hope you liked the video. Appreciate you stopping by. Again, if you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe, and Winks out.